Hi, this version of this presentation is recorded and you can watch it all the way through. You'll find a link in the notes that will take you to the Prezi without the video, where you can stop and start and be able to access all of the resources that are linked in the Prezi. I hope you find this helpful. This was designed for online instructors teaching courses with students who had been traditional on-the-ground students, but were required or chose to switch to online learning. We find ourselves in a very unique situation as a result of the current COVID-19 health pandemic. Students who had enrolled in higher education courses as on-the-ground traditional college students have found themselves in a situation where they have significantly fewer or sometimes even no options for in-person learning. They may have hybrid classes, or they may need to complete program requirements and find that the courses that they need for their program are only offered online, and sometimes only online as synchronous courses. I think that this is especially true for traditional Baypath University undergraduates who now find themselves enrolled in the American Women's College for courses that are not only online, but asynchronous and accelerated 6-week learning experiences. This project seeks to provide insight and suggestions for instructors to help these students acclimate to the online learning experience, with a focus on the asynchronous experience. In this presentation, I'll provide you with some suggestions to make the transition easier. Also note, as I had said before, that if you go to the Prezi without video in the link below, you will find links to additional resources for each section. When you look at the Prezi in the link, feel free to pause the presentation to look at any of the resources for additional information, or you can go back to any section to view resources at a later time. Student and instructor expectations. Clear expectations and instructions are always important, and even more so when students may not be used to the independent nature of many online courses, especially those that are completely asynchronous. They may be used to several face-to-face meetings with other students and their instructors. As a result, they could be used to having a lot of reminders about what needs to be completed and opportunities for in-class guided assignments. Being clear about what's expected each week, as well as a course overview to orient students, is very necessary. The instructor should be very precise with expectations about when assignments are due and how to locate rubrics for student review. The instructor should also remind the students that the course will move quickly and that late or missing assignments can have a greater impact in an accelerated course. The instructor should consider setting up voluntary synchronous sessions to review tips for success in this new online environment. Recording these sessions for students to watch later is recommended. Office hours should be posted, but let students know that you're available to speak with them at other times if needed. Here you will see the resources I mentioned in my introduction. If you go to the regular Prezi link, you'll be able to click on these links and be able to access these resources in their entirety. The human element. Engagement is the building block for success in both in-person and in online classes. Given the unexpected shift that our students are seeing, they're being required to make even more changes. And as a result, human engagement is even more important and needs to be intentionally planned. Students who had been traditional students will sometimes need additional interactions with the instructor in real time to develop a relationship that will afford them a quickly developed pathway to developing a trusting relationship. Having a trusting relationship with the instructor will make the student much more likely to reach out for support during their transition to online learning. If the class is designed to be asynchronous, the instructor again should consider synchronous sessions at the beginning of the class and schedule times in advance for other virtual check-ins throughout the course. For asynchronous classes, please consider posting regular video announcements so students can put a human face on the instruction. Remember, it's okay to show your human side. Video posts can be conversational and show your personality. If your cat or dog walks in the room, introduce them. It's really okay for your students to understand that you're a person and that you want to have a relationship with them. Again, I remind you that if you go to the regular Prezi link, you can access these resources at your leisure and in their entirety. Instructors need to be familiar with the supports that are available to students. as well as any alert system that the university might have in place. Just like students are not used to going it alone, and they don't have to go it alone, the same holds true for instructors. Whoops. As I said, the same does hold true for instructors. Make sure you're knowledgeable about where to make referrals to institution supports like writing centers, library and research supports, and information technology for troubleshooting anything that happens with technology and learning management system issues. If your institution of higher education has an early alert system, make yourself familiar with it and use it when a student is not responsive despite your best efforts, or if they're struggling with a course, even with your support. If the institution does not have a formal alert system, be sure you know how to identify students' counselors and how to reach out to them when necessary. Again, these resources are live linked in the Prezi link below this presentation. And now for a few pointers. Get it? A few pointers. Remember, be proactive. Don't wait for students to have difficulties. Make sure that you try to address things before they happen and be very intentional in your practice. Be as low tech as possible. If a student is struggling with technology, maybe a Zoom meeting won't be as effective as just a regular phone call. Be authentic. Let the cat or the dog walk in the room. Show your human side. Have a conversation. Be available. Have regular office hours and also be available by appointment when a student does need to have a conversation with you directly. Make sure you're flexible to a point. You have to make sure that you follow all university policies and procedures, but listen to students and understand that you may need to be a little bit more flexible to support them. And remember, you have experts that you can turn to support you and to support students. Make sure that you're familiar with them. Again, some more resources that you can access the live links in the regular Prezi presentation. Thank you so much for watching my final project about helping traditional students adjust to asynchronous online classes. I hope this information was helpful. Take care.